Good morning, beloveds. The weather is odd. We went to the park and it's 50 degrees out there, which is not really that cold. But the wind, the wind just cuts right through you. We're actually under a wind advisory for most of the day. And they're talking power outs because the wind will it could take the power lines out. So we'll see how that goes. But one, there were hawks. There were two. It looked like a mated pair because one of them was significantly larger than the other one. And between the wind and the hawks, there weren't a whole lot of squirrels. But there were a couple of squirrels that I spotted that were tucked up in the trees, in various like knots and branches and things like that. And when I would spot them, and so I stopped and took their picture, and then Tom would go, "Hey, I have peanuts," and then they would come down. So we didn't see a whole lot of squirrels, but we did see some. And Tom made sure every squirrel we saw got at least 3 peanuts. He made it worth their while to brave it. And some of them chased us and came down. They knew who we were. But some of them were like, and then there was this one that clearly saw us, clearly saw the peanuts, and was like, "I'm not coming down." it was so funny. So, but it was a fun day in the park. So, it is January 15th. I don't know how we're already halfway through January. Okay, January 15th. There is a subtle power within me, the essence of spirit. For lo, he that formeth the mountains and createth the wind and declareth unto man what is his thought, that maketh the morning darkness and treadeth upon the high places on earth. The Lord, the God of hosts, is his name. Excuse me, apparently I got a hiccup. Amos 4:13. Amos is a very, very small book, worth a read. From him is the seed of all things, and it is he that upholds the earth with all her mobile and immobile creatures. And that is the Mahabharata. I think I may have left a syllable out there. The Atman, in brackets, the real self, is permanent, eternal, and therefore existence itself. And that is Raja Yoga. The great prophet Amos tells us that God is the host. The God of hosts is the name of the power that forms the mountains, creates the winds, and declares its presence in the sanctuary of our own thoughts. This poetic description of spirit brings a sense of lightness, of peace, and of transcendent joy. Third time's a charm. He seems to have lifted the load of life in his declaration that the spirit treads upon the high places of the earth. This transcendent thought of God should ever be with us. And like Jesus, we should walk over the waves of human disturbances rather than being submerged by them. That's an interesting thought. Again, our lesson tells us that the Atman, which means the real self, is eternal and permanent. And here the text swings into the profound observation that spirit exists within itself. This has a definite meaning and demonstration. Life does not depend on something outside of itself, but immediately precipitates itself into our experience when we recognize it. It is this divine recognition which gives us transcendent power. And we may rely upon this law for its absolute. Look unto me and be ye saved, all the ends of the earth. There is a subtle power within me, the essence of spirit. I am sustained, I am guided, I am kept in the way of peace, prosperity, and joy. Every atom of my being is vibrant with life, alive with deathless self-existence. There is something within me today which sings a celestial song, which exalts. This song finds its echo in everything I do, causing the deaf to hear, the blind to see, and awakens the paralysis of fear into life and action. Okay. This is one of those where there's a lot in here, and I don't know. So I'm going to have to think about it. I'm also a little distracted. I admit I'm a little distracted because we're leaving on Monday to go to the convention, which means I'm leaving on Monday to go to panels. So I'm super excited about this. Don't mistake that for anything else. I am super excited about this. But it's also, it's windy, and I just realized I forgot to bring my ivies in. So I'm going to have to go do that as soon as I get done with this. But I will tell you the line that jumped out at me the most, and then we'll work our way back through it. The line that jumped out at me as most is this transcendent. I don't know why I'm struggling with that word today. This transcendent thought of God should ever be with us. And, like Jesus, we should walk over the waves of human disturbance rather than being submerged by them. That one jumped out at me. Because when you look into a lot of any tradition, water is a symbol of emotion. And disturbed water is strong emotion. And sometimes, like, you might even consider, like, stormy water to be emotions that are out of control. And if Jesus walked on water, then Jesus walked above the emotions. So it's like, yeah, Jesus understood emotions. Jesus had emotions. I mean, we saw at least one fit of temper. Well, two. I think there were two. And although one of them he was pretty tired. But most of the time, Jesus walked on water. Jesus walked above the emotions. So he had them, he felt them, he used them, but he did not get submerged by them. He didn't sink into them the way the apostle did. When the apostle starts to walk on water and he sinks, and Jesus caught him and held him up. And so that's something that we can do, is not get caught by our emotions, not sink into our emotions, and definitely not to wallow in our emotions. It's like, yes, we have them. Yes, they are potent power, and we can use them if we use them correctly. And so I like the idea of Jesus walking on water being a symbol of our ability to walk on our emotions, and I'm not saying to trample our emotions, but when strong emotions hold us, to hold ourselves to a higher level and to walk through them. It's like, and not to get overrun, overwrought, submerged by them, and caught into something that we can't get out of, to not get drowned by our emotions. So I think that's an incredible idea. So I'm going to have to think about this. I'm going to make a note of that one and go back to, I might write a talk for that one. I like it. All right. So there's a subtle power within me, the essence of spirit. So one of the things that he says in the body of the text is that we're naming it. And when we name it, when we name the power, when we recognize the power, then we open the channel. The power's always been there. But when we recognize it, call it by its name, call it what it is, then we open a channel and it flows into us and we are able to use it much more efficiently. All right, because we know what it is. So there is a subtle power within me, the essence of spirit. Amos 4:13, for lo, he that formeth the mountains and createth the world and wind and declareth unto man what is his thought, that maketh the morning darkness and treadeth upon the high places of the earth. The Lord, the God of hosts, is his name. Amos is a very short book. Feel free to go and read it. The Mahabharata is, for him is the seed of all, from him is the seed of all things, and it is he that uphold the earth with all her mobile and immobile creatures. And I like the fact that they got the dichotomy in there. It's like, okay, yes, that we have both male and female. And then Raja Yoga, the Atman, and then again in brackets it says the real self. So it's defining the term Atman. The Atman is permanent, eternal, and therefore existence itself. At the base of us, at the core of us, the center of us is that Atman, the real self. That part of us that belongs to something bigger. Belongs to something bigger. It's like we don't exactly own our soul because it's part of something bigger, but it is the essence of who we are. It's kind of like you can't own a cat. Okay, so the great prophet Amos tells us that God, the God of hosts, is the name of the power that forms the mountains, creates the winds, declares its presence, and declares its presence in the sanctuary of our own thought. So, in his words, this poetic description of spirit brings a sense of lightness, of peace, and transcendent joy. Why I'm having so much trouble with that word today. And I think Amos was one of the exile prophets. And so he was trying to remind his people who they were. But go read Amos because I'm not sure. He seems to have lifted the load of life in his descriptions that the Spirit treads upon the high places of the earth. This transcendent thought of God should ever be with us. And like Jesus, we should walk over the waves of human disturbance rather than being submerged by them. When we walk into a situation, we bring God with us. God is already present in the situation, but when we are aware that we bring God with us into the situation, we have the I'm going to say the opportunity not to get caught and overwhelmed by the situation, and then we have the power to affect the situation, to change the situation. I hesitate to say fix the situation, but we have the power to affect it. By knowing who we are and by knowing that we have the power to do that, to walk above the disturbance and not get submerged by it. Again, our lesson tells us that the Atman, which means the real self, is eternal and permanent. And here the text swings into the profound observation that the spirit exists within itself. This has a definite meaning in demonstration. Life does not depend on something outside of itself. It does not. Life is from within. But it immediately precipitates itself into our experience when we recognize it. When we are willing to call it God, we start to see it everywhere. It is this divine recognition which gives us transcendent power, and we may rely upon this law for its absolute. All right? And then it's a quote. Look unto me and be ye saved, all the ends of the earth. We don't have to be saved from another power. What we have to be saved from is the ignorance of the power that we already have, of the way that we use that power. And by recognizing where the power comes from, what it is, we will make much more efficient use of it. So, there is a subtle power within me, the essence of spirit. I am sustained. I am sustained by that power. I am guided. I am kept in the way of peace, prosperity, and joy. And I am kept that way by recognizing where the power comes from, what it is, or who it is. Choose your W word there. Every atom of my being is vibrant with life, alive with deathless self-existence. Every atom. And that's one of the laws of thermodynamics. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can change form. And that's what we are. We can neither be created nor destroyed. We'll merely change form. There is something within me today which sings a celestial song, which exalts. This song finds its echo in everything I do, causing the deaf to hear, the blind to see, and awakens the paralysis of fear into life and action. A lot of cultures talk about our song, including learning our song. A beautiful quote that I've heard is that friends are the ones who learn your song and sing it back to you when you've forgotten it. So today, we're singing a celestial song. We are singing the song of us and spirit together. So if you haven't figured it out, we got a mission. The mission today is to sing a celestial song with spirit, to sing our celestial song, and to let that fill us with peace, with love, with joy. And that song will sing us into life and all of the glory and beauty that life can be. So that's your mission. Sing your celestial song with spirit. All right, beloveds. I'm going to move into the process of my day. Here, hang on. There we go. There's your cameo. You can probably hear her, so you might as well get to see her. Rita's with us today. So you got your mission. I also encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever it looks like, big, small, doesn't matter. I've got prep work to do to make sure that everything's set up for taking care of these guys while we're gone and get the house in order. So I got a busy day ahead of me, and that is going to be the loving, kind, and compassionate thing I do, is to get everything in order for these guys so that we don't worry about them while we're gone. The person taking care of them will take good care of them. So, all right, beloveds. I also encourage you to engage your mind and your body. I would tell you to go get a face full of sun, but there was no sun this morning, so we did get some early morning light. Drink plenty of water. As always, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. And when you open the windows of your soul, you'll also hear that celestial song that Ernest and Raymond were talking about. You'll hear the wonderfulness that it is, and the wonderfulness that you are, because you are a beloved child of God. You have a celestial song. I promise you, you do. So open those windows. Hear that song. Look for the good and praise it. So, have a wonderful day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, an enchanting day, a magical day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. All right? You are good. You are enough just as you are. You are enough just as you are. So take care of yourself. Know that you're loved, and sing your song. Sing your song. Be who you are. I don't know what I'm talking about, so I just need to go because I'm worried about my ivies right now. So Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. And then we will have an amazing service for you at 11 tomorrow, right here on Facebook Live. We also have another one of the soul sessions coming up this Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that. That'll be at 7 o'clock, right here on Facebook Live. No, it won't be on Facebook. Yeah, it will be. It'll be on... I'm losing my mind. It will be on Facebook Live. But Jesse and Donald John Lewis are going to be on Zoom. They will not be at the center, so there will not be an option for in-person for that. I'm losing my mind. I'm going to go get something to eat. Y'all take care of yourself. Know that you're loved. Catch us on the social medias. We are the Running Rev. I am the Running Rev Ryan. And we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. So check us out. Follow us. Like us. Subscribe. That way you can see all the amazing content that goes up. I think David was working on a YouTube channel, so he may have one too. And if I find out, I'll let you know. All right, beloveds. Have a loving day. Loving, kind, compassionate. Always. Practice on yourself.